Hey, lots of interesting stuff with the DJI Support today in the Mavic Pro. But news-wise, it seems like everything's about that Conor McGregor and Mayweather fight tomorrow. Anybody else gonna watch it? I'm kind of interested in seeing it too. Just wondering where I would. It's fascinating to me anyways to see somebody doing MMA fights going into a boxing ring because the rules are completely different, so it makes me wonder how it's going to turn out. The question, if I use a selfie stick? No, I don't. I handhold this camera. So basically when I turn and stuff, it's all manual. So if I want to see that bust, and then back here. I actually have been debating about getting the stick for this specifically, but the price of it is about $70 Canadian, so it just constantly made me wonder, do I really want to spend $70 Canadian for a selfie stick design for this, or should I invest that, if I was to get something like that, on like a motorized gimbal instead? Like the stabilization I think is great, but like again, the price just makes me think of the value, if it's worth it or not. You guys are also saying that you tweeted a DJI Support about my video about the gimbal problem to see if they will take care of it, and you said they got a response saying they will reply to my video. Oh, thank you very much for everyone that's actually trying to actively help me get this thing figured out. They actually did reply too, so that's basically going to be the main topic like I'll talk about, because the response, again, it's a little confusing, so let's try to get some clarification here. And for clarification too, just a reminder, before I sent in the email for the DJI Support, I gave them my whole invoice. I forwarded it for like clarification, and they told me to be patient, and I haven't actually gotten an official reply from that email yet. So this response, the response in the social media, I'll consider this as like PR in many ways, like a PR response. So I'm still assuming I will get an actual official response, because maybe it's two completely different people who have no idea what's going on. So for this response here, this DJI Support says, "We are sorry for any confusion caused. Just double check your case since the gimbal is out of warranty period based on the activation date, which was 26/10/2016. That's why you need to pay for the repair." And then it goes on to say, because we do like to clarify the service fee to ensure its quality and performance, it's not only the cost for repair process itself, but also includes the cost for damage assessment, repair, quality control, and flight test process. To get it repaired soon, please pay for the invoice at your most convenience. Thank you so much for kindly understanding. So just from reading this, it sounds like it's a completely different person that I'm talking to. There's no context here in terms of my situation as a whole. It seems like they just saw this one video, the one that probably like you recommended them to watch, and they saw, oh, explain the gimbal repair fee, like no other context to it, like this is the reason. So I don't think this is the official answer yet. I hope. It's a little disappointing if this is, based on all the videos and stuff that I've shown about the issue and how much issue people have had with the gimbal in general. So I think the first point to bring up too in terms of warranty and all that stuff, like for me, for example, I want some clarification about what exactly is wrong with the gimbal. That is the most important thing. Like, is it the gimbal or is it something more simple? Because again, with the videos I show, it makes no sense in terms of the fact that it works perfectly fine if I turn it upside down. That tells me there's nothing wrong with the gimbal camera, like per se, like the actual camera itself. Like maybe there's like a little wire or something like that that's just, I don't know, dislodged for whatever reason. Holy cow, that's a lot of ducks. Now for me, again, I want to specifically find out what is wrong with this gimbal or whatever. Because when you say gimbal, for example, like I'm just gonna show like a picture here, like I would assume you mean like this, like the whole camera itself. And from what I see, that doesn't seem to be the issue. I mean, just from basic like logic, like I don't know if it's technically accurate, but if it works, if it's upside down, then to me it shows that there's something loose, for example. Maybe it's a simple wire like this ribbon. Is that the case? Because with that clarification as well, if it is, for example, just simply that little ribbon that's the issue, which from what I've seen in some videos, like some people fix the gimbal problem just like that, then does that still qualify as, quote, a gimbal warranty? Even though in my opinion, that should be part of like, you know, the main unit. If it's just like a little string or ribbon or whatever you want to call it that's loose or that it broke through normal wear and tear. I mean, in my opinion, that's what DJI Support should be communicating with me. What is wrong with it exactly? You should be able to pinpoint it exactly what is wrong. Don't just say like, for example, oh, well, the gimbal doesn't start up or whatever, like properly in its right position, so gimbal warranty error. Like, I want to know specifically, if you're going to be charging people money as well, where I sent it with the assumption that you're going to take care of it, like even what you said publicly, then I want to know exactly what is wrong with it. Don't guess. Because like it says here in the official DJI say, it says gimbal camera 6 months. So if it is, for example, just that simple ribbon, does that count as gimbal camera warranty, or is that more of like the main unit? Because I assume like here, like it says MC. At first I thought like, is that, you mean like the controller? Like, because I think that's what it stands for, main controller, based on what I saw like in the forum. But like that, it says 12 months. So wouldn't that count as like the whole aircraft, like in general? Like if that's the issue, which is something that simple. Again, I need clarification what exactly is wrong with it, because so many people are having issues with this, and I don't want to pay for this, and then what? It's gonna happen again, and I don't know why. More filming here, it seems. Oh, Legends of Tomorrow. The other thing I think that needs a clarification about the warranty, which is a little confusing, is I would assume like the product in general has like a 1-year warranty, like in general with the labor and everything. So assuming like, okay, let's just say you need to replace the camera, like that would be $60. Like, shouldn't the 1-year warranty include the labor to actually do your testing and researching or whatever to make sure the aircraft is okay afterwards? Like, even if you say like, okay, whatever, like you consider that little ribbon the problem, so you need $60, shouldn't the 1 year cover like the labor in general? Like, to me, that doesn't make sense. Like, well, what's the point? Like, that almost sounds like this aircraft has absolutely no warranty at all, like in general, when it comes to like the whole aircraft. I can see if I was crazy and I crashed it, I killed it, there's like broken parts everywhere, then yeah, like by all means charge me like whatever you think. Like, then anything else would just be you being nice if you're willing to like address it or cover it. But in this case, if it's normal wear and tear of stuff like that, then it doesn't make sense to me why like the company isn't standing by their product in that sense and trying to charge the customer in every single way. Like I even showed you, I can fly it like normal and everything. That is just a startup for whatever reason. Can't start up like on its regular position. You turn it upside down and everything works as normal when you fly it. So tell me specifically what is wrong. I mean, something to think about too, where like in my opinion, things like the Mavic Pro, it's pro consumer end, so I personally expect like quality. You expect it to last for a while. Like you could say, for example, I've had this since the launch, obviously based on the date, but based on the actual flight time, like that, you should think about this like as a company like DJI. Is this basically like, is this what you're telling me basically? Like you expect like that gimbal or whatever is wrong with it to die within 6 months? Because if you think about it, I actually didn't fly it that much in the big picture because of things like those crazy interim laws we had here in Canada where I couldn't fly it for months, and I was here trying to educate like the public and advocating for it. So if you think about it, if it's only like a 6-month warranty, assuming there's like 30 days in a month, that means 180 days of flight. Now, assuming like you fly for about, let's say 22 minutes per battery. I'm saying 22 because realistically like that thing runs out of battery like sooner, it starts beeping, so you have to land it. So with 180 days times 22, that would be 3,960 minutes worth of flight time within the 6 months. So if my calculation is correct, 3,960 divided by 60 would mean 66 hours. So if you flew on average of 22 minutes a day for 6 months, then the guaranteed, like another way to think about it, of the warranty for the camera is 66 hours worth of flight time, which actually kind of makes sense because remember how I said I had the downtime? So obviously I couldn't have flown it for this long just due to how long I was down in terms of I couldn't fly because of the regulations. If that other person on my channel said he returned it within 3 months, it makes me think if I didn't have, or we didn't have here in Canada the interim laws, and this thing would have like, it would have essentially died like within that period, like the 3 to 4 months as well, which is a little troublesome. So there's something consistent here going on, which again, which is why I want to know exactly what is wrong with this. Because again, for this gimbal problem, it's pretty much rampant out there, it seems. I mean, I don't have to look very hard. I can even go to the official DJI forum right now, and this is the first thing that came up with the Mavic. Send drone to repair equals nightmare. And this guy apparently said he had like gimbal motor overload issue. Now this guy had like a different experience where I guess he is fully covered in every single way, I guess just determined based on the time. But apparently he's complaining because he didn't get like a brand new unit. He got like, I guess, a refurbished unit or someone else's unit, which made him disappointed. And it's just a further example of why I want to know exactly like what it is the issue, because it even says here replacement products or parts provided by DJI may not be new. It'll be in good working order and at least functionally equivalent to the original product or parts warranty. A replacement product or part shall be covered for the time remaining in the original product's warranty. Again, like to me that's confusing. So like let's say I just went through this right now, like no dispute or whatever, I just like suck it up and pay the 200, like over 200 Canadian for this. am I gonna get like a used part, for example? It's the same problem gonna happen again and tough luck? Or again, it says like based on the original like manufacturer's warranty, so do I have no warranty after as well? I mean, I would ask too, like, why didn't you say it before? Like before I sent it in, just say, we don't stand by this product. 6 months, we expect it to die or whatever. Like, don't bother sending it in unless you're willing to pay like this money. Like, that's a little blunt to say it, but even like in retail stores, for example, if they think it's out of warranty, you're gonna have to pay. They tell them beforehand, are you sure you want me to ship this out? Because we're not gonna cover it for free, for example. Whereas like initially, like for my reaction was like based on the email support, they're like, oh yeah, I'll send it in, like, you know, we'll look at it and all that stuff. And same thing with the post on my channel is like, yeah, we'll take care of it. I mean, the only other thing I can think about too, in comments to this, I mean, if they care about customer feedback and stuff, I mean, to me, that's a little surprising. If the end response is, yeah, we expect that gimbal to die like within 6 months, even with like a ribbon or something like that, and we won't cover it unless you pay $200. Because like for a person like me that buys things like a Mavic Pro, I buy it to capture footage. I don't buy it just to fly around, for example. Like if I just want something to fly around, I'd get like, you know, like a model aircraft or something like that. Like why pay so much money for this camera and stuff? So that's a little bit disturbing if that's the case right now. Like that's the final response for the DJI Support, which I still haven't got yet in the email. I mean, just as a funny example, even with the Osmo, it says here, gimbal camera, 12 months warranty, handle 12 months. Can you imagine if people read this, the handle is covered for 12 months, but the camera is covered for 6 months? It would make me wonder, like, why do you think that it'll only last for 6 months? What's wrong? So again, to be clear, I'd like to know exactly what is wrong with the product, because with that answer, it should explain perfectly why is it that the Mavic Pro, for example, started up perfectly fine when it's upside down and functions perfectly. Like this should explain that for everybody else as well. 2, if you're doing it for like testing and so forth, like all the hours, why is that not covered under the 1-year warranty? If you're just testing to make sure the whole aircraft like flies in general. And 3, do you expect the gimbal to actually run out in 6 months? Like that's normal. Again, I think it's a pretty reasonable request in terms of the communication, especially since there's so many people with the same issue and people put down that much money for a product. It's nice to know what the answer is. I mean, in many ways, I wouldn't rule out as well, since I was an early adopter and since the launch was such a mess in terms of not having enough stock. Maybe you guys rushed it out, and so this was really poor quality stuff that you had in my Mavic personally. It might sound weird, but I'm understanding if you say it that way. Say, okay, we're gonna give you one that we know is actually better now that everything's calmed down. Although I know how that could be a PR disaster, but still, it's a lot better to have the communication than to just leave someone like me hanging with such generic information, because I generally want to know what is wrong with it. Because just like in general too, I mean, it's kind of bad, like company DJI wise, if you're saying to me, like you expect this thing to wear out, like, hey, that's normal through this little usage. I mean, if a person like me can't have confidence that whatever you do afterwards, it's gonna be like just as good for a while, why would the people that I help educate about drones trust your product not to fall from the sky, for example? A person like me is gonna be worried, okay, this thing's gonna like die within 10 hours now. So I hope, again, if you need to talk to like a supervisor to look into the case specifically to tell me exactly what is wrong so that everyone else can learn from it too, then please do so. Don't give like generic answers like that, because I think it's actually pretty important in the big picture. All right, see you guys later.